Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and Son Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekaha Kudash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of GMS, who ruled well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. GMS Stop and Listen. GMS Arkansas, the brother Preacher Cal coming with a short lesson. What I want to talk about now is sometimes people they basically get confused with being called a disciple or apostle, right? Now, I want to show you the definition of the two words because I'm going to show you that an apostle is a disciple, right? But a disciple is not an apostle. It makes sense? Okay, an apostle is a disciple, but a disciple is not an apostle. Okay, I'm going to show you why. Okay, you look up the word disciple. Okay. Someone accepts to help to spread the teachings of a famous person, right? Famous person was Yahweh Shai in the New Testament, right? Famous person in the Old Testament, I'll give you an example, was Elijah. Okay. Elijah in the Old Testament, Yahweh Shai in the New Testament. Okay. Now, you look up the origin of the word disciple from late Latin, in Latin, discipulus, follower of Yahweh Shai Mashiach in his lifetime, from Latin, a pupil, okay? A pupil. So if you're a pupil, you're a disciple. What does a pupil do? Okay, a pupil. Synonyms are a follower. There go pupil again. These two words are the important words in a follower and a pupil. So what is a pupil? Okay. Pupil. Pupil is a child or a young person in school or in charge of a tutor or an instructor. One who has been taught or influenced by a famous or distinguished person. So someone who's been taught or influenced. So a pupil is what a learner basically, right? Okay, look up some of these synonyms for pupil. Someone who's been taught by somebody distinguished. It's not Yahweh Shai distinguished. Was not Elijah, was he not distinguished? Okay. So someone who supports and is guided by another person, right? A follower. Someone who's guided by another person. Okay. So when you think of Yahweh Shai, when he had all them different men, synonyms, pupil, disciple. So a follower is a disciple also. Okay. So a disciple is a pupil, a learner, a follower. Okay. So now I'm going to show you. Now let's look up in the scriptures and see where the scriptures talk about basically a disciple. Let's go to 1 Kings Let's go to 19. So 19 to 19. 19 and 19. So he departed thence and found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th, and Elijah passed by him and cast his mantle upon him. Okay. And he left the oxen and ran after Elijah and said, let me pray thee, my father and my mother, and then I will follow thee. And he said unto him, go back again, for what have I done to thee? Question. The key is, he said, I will follow you, right? If he followed him, guess what? He's going to learn from it. Elijah was a distinguished person. He was a prophet. He was a famous person. Okay. He was sent to do the work of the Heavenly Father. So that would make him in that delegated authority spot, which that's what apostle emphasizes, a delegated authority. Authoritative delegation. Okay. So he was going to follow him, meaning what? You're going to learn to be a pupil under him, so he would be a disciple in this situation. Elisha. Okay. Going to the word follow. Yalak, to go, to walk, to come. Okay. To lead away, to cause, to walk, carry, to bear. So when you become a disciple, you're gonna bear burdens, man. Okay. Behind, hinder, afterwards. So you're gonna walk after him, and you're gonna learn of what the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's what disciples, what our pupils do. We learn from the delegated authority, right? We're learning the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, trying to be perfect in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Matthew 4:48. Okay. Now, let me go to Matthew. Go to Matthew, the 4th chapter. Right after this is when Satan was trying to throw Yahushua off, man, and tempt him and whatnot. Right? When Yahushua went through with all of it, he basically left, and he went to, it says, leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum. Right? Went to Capernaum, so he went, and when he got there, it says, from that time Yahushua began to preach and say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He was telling the people. Okay. So Yahushua was walking by the Sea of Galilee and saw two brethren, Simon, called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me. Right? Follow me. Which follow me, he's going to make them what? Pupils. He's going to make them learners, disciples. Follow me, and I will make thee fishers of men. So he was telling them he's gonna teach them this gospel where they can preach to men, that men might be saved, because what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. Okay. That's part of our job as pupils of our apostles. We get instructions and we go out and preach. We go out to be fishers of men also, that men could be disciples, man. Come in this thing. Okay. And straightway left their nets and they followed him. So they became what? Disciples. And going from thence, he saw another two brethren, James, son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, in a ship with Zebedee, their father, mending their nets. And he called them, and they immediately left their ship and their father and followed him. So they became disciples also, because they followed. When you go into that word disciple, it goes into word follower and pupil. Pupil goes into basically one that's being taught, a learner. Okay. Followers when you go behind. So they became disciples. And Yahushua went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing all manner of sickness and all manner of disease among the people. So the disciples were following. They were learning from Yahushua, man. And we go into the 5th chapter. And seeing the multitude, he went up into the mountains. And when he was set, his disciples, what? Came with him. The disciples, the followers. Mathetes, a learner, a pupil, a disciple, a learner or a pupil, right? What do? They follow. Okay. The root word, the origin, menthanao, to learn, to increase one's knowledge, to be increased in knowledge. And that's what they do. To hear, to be informed, to learn by use of practice. See? And when you go into the 5th chapter, that's what he did. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, when you go through the 5th chapter, he taught them basically about the poor going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. He went through the meek are going to inherit the heaven, be the merciful. He went through and told them about being peacemakers, about how they be persecuted for his name's sake. He talked about the rewards. He told them about being the light of the world, not hiding it under a bushel. He also taught them that he came not to destroy the law. These were things he was teaching them, right? He was teaching them about if you break one commandment, you're gonna be the least of the kingdom. He went through and he taught them. When you read all the way down to verse 48 in chapter 5, he's teaching them different things, man. You know, agree with the adversary. He taught them about the adultery. He went into that. You know, he went into eye for an eye with them. Okay, all the way when you look, taught them about swearing. You know, if you get your cheek smited, give them the other cheek. He taught them all kinds of things, man, and they learned. You know, and at the end, he said, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." Okay, perfect meaning what? Telos, brought to an end, finished, wanting nothing necessary, completeness, being complete in what the law, statutes, commandments. Okay, becoming mature in this truth, because when you come into the truth, so in the 2 Peter, you're a babe, right? And the more you learn, the more you grow, and the more you become more mature. Okay, this is a disciple, man. Now, I'm gonna go to the word apostle. Okay, let's go to that word. It goes into someone who believes, support the idea, one sent on a mission, one of an authoritative. It says group sent to preach the gospel, made up especially of Yahushua's 12 original disciples and Paul. It goes into the highest ecclesiastical official in some church organization. Okay. It's coming from a Latin word, apostolos, from the Greek apostolos, from stellan, to send away. Okay? To send away. So when you're sent away, this makes you an apostle according to the definition. Apostles are sent away. They have like I said, they're the highest of like the church. Okay? Or maybe apostles of the church. Now, when you go back to the scriptures, show you something. You go back to the scriptures. When you go to Matthew, let's go to Matthew 10. Matthew 10 and 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, right there, disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. So now if he given them this power, you kind of know if he giving them the power, what is he wanting them to do? To start what? Performing these particular acts. He want them to start going out. So he's about to basically send them, right? So he's finna give them what? Their seal of, he's about to give them the seal of apostleship, right? The seal of apostleship. Let me show you. This is 1 Corinthians 9 and 2. If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you, for the seal of my own apostleship are ye in the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Apostle lay, a sending away. Okay? A sending away, i.e. to release. He about to release them from under his care, because everywhere Yahushua went, when he went into the mountains, they would always come with him. A lot of times when you read, they would want to get rid of the multitude of people because there were plenty of people that followed him. So were many disciples. But he chose a special 12 of those disciples to what? To give them a seal of apostleship, man. Okay? To sent away. So it says, and he, back in Matthew 10 and 1, and when he had called upon him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles, see how it switched from verse 1 to verse 2. They were disciples in verse 1, but once he gave them the power, right? He gave them that power. 1849, exousia. Okay. It says power of choice, liberty of doing as one please, leave, permission, mental ability and strength of one endued, which he either possesses or exercises a power of authority, influence of right privilege, to power or rule. See, the authority. He gave them an authority right here in verse 1. So now in verse 2, the names of the 12 apostles, right? The ones who were sent away are these: the first Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, right? I think Bartholomew's other name is Nathanael, Thomas, and Matthew, the publican, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname is Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who would also betray him. These 12 Yahushua sent forward. See, he sent them. So he made them apostles once he gave them that power, that authoritative influence. He sent them apostello, to order to go to a place appointed, right? So he was giving them a particular place to go, to send away, to dismiss. So he was giving them their apostleship, okay? These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not unto the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, Yasha Allah, the Negroes, Latinos, and the Native Americans who are destroyed. Okay, that land that they were in, when you read in Kings, the 17th chapter, they took them from that land and put in other nations. Okay, and those other nations were taught by Levites. So that's why you have the Samaritan woman. Them, they thought that our fathers went by basically the law. You know, they thought that they were part of that clique. Okay, it said, and go, and as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, man. So he gave them that they were made apostles, man. Okay, they were made apostles. I'll show you again where it speaks of that. So can you see the difference between disciples and apostles? Okay, the disciples are learners, they're pupils. When they're sent by that delegated authority, they become apostles. Luke 6:13, showing it in Luke. And when it was day, he called unto him disciples, and of them chose 12, whom also he named apostles. See, he named them 12 disciples, apostles. In the same order, it's just the account written in Luke. See, he named them apostles, man. Okay, so they were sent. You know, and it tells you that he gave some apostles, some teachers, some in Ephesians. Let me get that. Ephesians 4 and 12 and 11, something like that. Verse 10, he that descended is the same also that ascended up from above all heavens, that he might fill all things, Yahushua. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and some teachers. So he gave some to be apostles, man. You know, and some guys are prophets, man. They could speak before, they could say before a lot of things. The Lord shows them a lot of things, but a lot of them might not be apostles. Okay. So, hey, it's when you read in, like even Paul was an apostle. When you read, I'll show you, because Romans 1, Corinthians, 1 and 1, Galatians 1 and 1, all at the beginning, that's basically what, it says, Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahushua Mashiach, and the Most High, the Father, Yahweh the Father, who raised him from the dead. Because when you go in the story, Paul was on his way to Damascus, and Yahushua knocked him off the horse. Right? He saw that light. So he was taught by Yahushua himself. Right? And he was sent. And he was sent to the churches, man. So Paul was an apostle. See, the word apostle, G652, there it goes again. You know, Even Timothy was appointed an apostle. I think when you read in, 'cause he was a disciple under Paul. Then when you read in 2:7, where you start at, let me go to. I think this. There, I exalted therefore that first of all supplications and prayers, intercession, giving the thanks be made for all men. Then it go down and says, verse 6 and 7, who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified due time. So you talking about Yahweh Shai. Whereunto I am ordained a preacher and an apostle. I speak the truth in Yahweh Shai. I lie not, a teacher unto the Gentiles in faith and verity. Look up the word verity. Objectively, what truth in any matter under consideration, truly in truth, according to the truth, in reality, straightforward. You know, in faith and being straightforward. Who are the Gentiles? The Israelite foreigners. That's who they were sent to. Every time you go to the beginning of a chapter, it always speaks of them being apostles. I can just show you. Go to Colossians 1:1. Okay. And I'm sorry it's taking so long, but hey, it's what it is. Colossians 1:1, Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, by the will of Yahweh, and Timothy, our brother, okay, to the saints of the faithful brethren in Yahweh Shai Mashiach, which are at Colossae. Grace be unto you, and peace be from the Father Yahweh, our Father, and the Lord Yahweh Shai of Mashiach. See, Timotheus was a disciple, but then it said in other chapter, Timothy, he said, I was made a teacher and an apostle. Okay. You go in 2 Peter 1:1, it's going to talk about it. 1 Peter 1:1. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end with this one. 2 Corinthians. Let me get 8. and 21, providing for honest things, not only in the sight of Yahweh Shai, but also in the sight of men, honest things. And we have sent with them our brethren, whom we have oftentimes proved diligent in many things, but now much more diligent upon the great confidence which I have in you. Whether any do acquire of Titus, he is my partner and fellow helper. Concerning you and your brethren, be inquired of what? They are messengers of the churches and the glory of Mashiach. They are what? Apostolos, messengers. That particular word messenger is what? Apostolos, a delegate messenger, one sent forth with orders, especially applied to the 12 apostles of Yahweh Shai. So one who sent forth with orders, teachers like Barnabas, Timothy, like Titus. So they were messengers of the churches, man. They were given that delegated authority. Okay, so that made them apostles. They went from being disciples to apostles. So are apostles disciples? Yes. Is a disciple of the apostle? Not so much. He has to go through his stages, man. He has to be sent out and appointed. Okay. So a disciple emphasizes being a learner and a pupil. And the apostle emphasizes a delegated authority. Okay. Yeah, I hope this lesson was edifying. Disciples versus apostles, I guess. Maybe what I'll name it. But I hope it was edifying. All Praise, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, Kal Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS and Root Well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. GMS Topolist and GMS Arkansas with another lesson. Till the next time, say Shalom.